Well, welcome everybody. My name is Katie and I work at the Sacramento Public Library where books are just the beginning. And September is Healthy Aging Month and we'll be featuring programs throughout this month to help you in improving your overall well-being as you age. We're so excited to offer chair yoga today and to have local yoga instructor Kirsten Johnson with us, and we'll get to her in just a moment. But first, I did want to mention a few things. So the first thing is that if you're finding that you're having any audio related issues, please exit the program and re-enter. We do find that typically this solves the program, so go ahead and give that a try. Also, today's program is going to be recorded and uploaded to our YouTube channel, which you can find under Sacramento Public Library. There's an entire virtual yoga playlist, so you can look for it there, and it should be available within the week. And finally, I'm going to be sending out a survey at the end of the 4 weeks. So please keep an eye out for that email and feel free to share your thoughts and feedback. We always appreciate hearing from you. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn things over to Kirsten. So Kirsten, take it away and please enjoy.
All right. Well, thank you and welcome, Katie. And thank you again to Sac Library for having me with this chair yoga series. And if you're just joining in, the prop for today, of course, is a chair. And today's practice will basically essentially be doing the same thing we did last week, but with a little different twist, having the option to remain seated and doing everything seated, and just seeing how that shows up and how that feels in your body. Or the other option is to, we'll get a chance to actually do part of it standing and using the chair as a prop. So the props suggested, once again, is a chair. If you have a yoga strap or a dog leash, anything like that for connection. I have a seat and I'm seated on my chair, folded blanket or a towel, yoga blocks or books, Amazon packages. I just hid mine. So yeah, those will be working. And then this is one thing that I learned myself, always learning, always a student, always a teacher, is another blanket on the ground. So this actually, if you want to spend the entire practice seated, another blanket below, or some type of support underneath the feet, it really gives a different type of connection. So last week, our theme was all about grounding and alignment. And I thought this week we'd play again with that theme of grounding and alignment, and also the space, the filling in the blanks of what that means when we have all of this space in our spine, in our breath, and our body. So with that, we'll get started. So find your comfortable seat. So once again, seated in your chair, feet firmly planted onto the earth or to the mat. Last week I suggested maybe bringing the blocks, if you, depending on your length of your legs, to bring blocks even underneath the feet, or maybe even just that towel or blanket option. And then we'll just start off with that breath, that alignment, that grounding. So find yourself grounded into first your feet. Just have your feet grounded into the earth beneath you. And then from here, we'll ground our sit bones, ground the bottom of our pelvic bowl into the chair beneath you. Oh yeah, start to wiggle around, maybe back and forth, side to side. And you'll feel that it's not just like a pointy points of your sit bones, but this whole little round thing that you can move from side to side, back and forth, until you find that point where you feel even, where you feel that you're firmly rooted, centered. And for me, that takes a little bit of adjustment because one of my hip pelvis bones are higher than the other. So I know that about my anatomy. So what do you know about your anatomy? And it could be anything and everything, knowing that it's perfectly fine, perfectly okay, just as you are. Just noticing and paying attention to how that feels for you. So once you find that even point where you feel even, we're going to just root down from that. Inhale, take a long, deep, full inhale so that you rise and lengthen all the way through the spine, top of the crown, and maybe close your eyes if that feels safe, if that feels okay, or have a soft gaze and just exhale that all out. Notice on the exhale, did you lose any length? And maybe coming back with the breath in, lengthening, grounding down through the feet, through the seat, lifting up through the crown. Inhale. Keep all of the length and just breathe it all out. Release it. And then start to come to your awareness, that filling in between the space of the seat, of where you're rooted, and that filling in all the way through the length, the top of the crown. The last hair follicle, the longest one that's up there, just breathe it all in, release it all out. And then notice as you're breathing, if you can create some type of awareness, a connection to how you're feeling in your breath today. How you're feeling in your body, how you're feeling. And with that awareness, maybe there's a softening of the shoulders, maybe a release of any tension or holding with any exhale. Bring the hands or the arms so that they're just completely resting onto the lap. The elbows are soft. And breathe. Notice all the spaces that you can feel with your breath. Sometimes we like to fill these spaces with our thoughts and other activities of what we're going to do for the rest of the day. But I invite you to just come and feel that space with your breath and then just noticing everything that's present in the moment right here. And that could include outside sounds, maybe glimmers of light, maybe even just the sound and the texture of your breath. But just spend some moments just filling in that space and noticing. And then just take around 10 more deep breaths, just like that. Just filling in, breathing in, exhaling, letting it go. Softening, awakening, and lengthening on the breath in, letting it go on the breath out. And then if it's in your practice to connect with a mantra, an affirmation, or if you'd like to invite a feeling of just being present in the moment with the next few breaths, feeling confident and sure of who you are in this moment. And then we'll set that intention to fill in all of that space and all the time during the practice when we want to travel and we want to go elsewhere, we'll stay right here with the breath in. Let's take a breath in together. Inhale, open up the arms. Let them come up together to the top. Oh, exhale, come down to the heart, release. Ooh. All right, let's bring in some movement of the neck, lengthening of the thing. So finding your seat, rounding down to the feet, lengthening all the way up to the crown, softening through the shoulders. Hands can be rest on the lap. Breathe in on the breath in, lengthen the spine, and then find the length of your spine and just bring the chin down toward the chest. Keep that length of the spine and then start to make some circles back and forth from ear to ear, like a little half smile. And then notice what it brings or feels like if you bring that and attach just a softening around the face, the eyes, the corners of the mouth when you create this little movement. And you can keep it here, or if it's okay, and just notice how it feels, to take a full rotation. And sometimes that doesn't feel good. So if it doesn't feel good, remember, this is your practice. What I offer is always an offering, but it's an option. So you can feel free to have a different option if that works. Back and forth, side to side. There we go, warming up the neck. And maybe you're at home and you want to take some full breaths and have some breaths that exhale with some sound. The snap, crackle, pop of all the spine. Oh, yes, this lengthening, creating all that space in between. Okay, find your strap, your dog leash, your something that you have. We'll start with just a little bit of movement, more of the spine back and forth and the shoulders. And I like to come up to a little bit to the edge of my seat for this so that I'm really aware of now I am not leaning against the back of the chair, but I'm really still rooted down to the feet, grounded down to the pelvis, lengthening all the way up to the crown, and bringing your strap and maybe a little bit more than shoulder width apart. And then start to just move it up and back. If you have any shoulder mobility issues or sensitivity, then maybe you just hold it right here or just go as far as your range of motion. So just back and forth movement up and down. And then you may, and this is all up to you, how spicy you want to feel this. Remember, spicy is okay, but no pain, no sharp pain. Maybe you can come out wider and start to make bigger circles. And your shoulder is just an amazing joint that is allowed to make this almost a full rotation. So if that's okay for you, and that's why it comes to edge of your seat, then start to make these full circles up and back with your shoulders. There you go. And remember, here is also fine. Just strengthening those shoulder muscles, lengthening through the spine, creating all this space. All right, when you're ready, bring that strap up if it's okay for you, and then start to tick-tock from side to side. Maybe holding it to one side, the neck can come and look up and down with that also. Coming back to center. Both sit bones remain grounded. And over to the other side. There we go. Lengthening. So this whole side body gets to be open. Filling in all the blanks with your breath. Creating all that space. There we go. Breathe in. Back to center. And then just do that back and forth. Or just back and forth moving through the spine. Okay? There we go. Breathing in, filling up the space, and breathing out. Oh. One more breath here. Come back to center. And then go ahead and let that strap aside. I like to reset and wiggle it all out in between everything. Okay. Coming into our next spinal movement of the spine, filling up all the space with our breath. We're going to have the hands and set those onto the top of the thighs. Inhale as you breathe in and you lift up the chest. Slide the elbows back. Shoulders are coming away from the ears. There you go. And there might be a slight back bend as the head tilts up. And this is going to be what we'll refer to as our seated cow. All right. On your breath out, exhale, slide the hands forward, maybe to the top of the knees, round the back, curve the spine, bring the chin down to the chest. Exhale, all that space between the shoulders. Of course, the shoulders are coming away from the ears again. And this is going to be our seated cat. All right, let's move it to your breath, your rhythm. Inhale and exhale, cat and cow. You can remain here, or maybe you've already closed down your eyes and thought, oh, this might feel good to round it into circles as you inhale, bring the chest and the torso forward, and then exhale, round the back and let it go. So whatever version you've tried or you're doing, go ahead and just feel that and create that space between the spine. If you're doing the circles, reverse. Or maybe you want to hold it in one shape or the other. Okay, come on back to center. And then let's do it. Let's wiggle it all out. All right, so here's where we get the chance to play with the options that we did last week. Last week we did a little bit of down dog, warrior 1, warrior 2, and we'll do those again. And we'll go to that first option, seated, and then I'll give you the option doing that stand with the chair option as a support, as a prop. Okay, so I like to use with my seated down dog, a wide leg down dog. So having blocks are also a great means of support. The edge of your chair, bringing the feet a little bit now wider than hip width apart. So that way you'll have more space for the belly and the torso to fold in between. All right, let's find the seat. Breathe in, inhale, let those arms lift up, lengthen. Remember, we're creating all that space. Exhale, we're starting to hinge from the hip crease. So I like to just imagine if I'm holding one of these blocks so that I'm keeping my spine long, keeping all this distance in the spine. And then find the hands either coming down to your blocks or to the ground. You can even walk the arms out a little bit further, allowing a little bit more space for you to fold down into this wide legs seated option of a down dog. Keep your breath in, and it helps to root down through the feet so that you can slightly curve the tip of the spine down so that you can remain seated if you feel your bottom lifting up off the seat. And then lengthen through the spine. And once again, breathe in, maybe fold a little bit more, exhale out. Let's take this into a gentle spinal twist. Walk the hands back. Maybe the blocks are underneath the center. Left hand stays down. Right hand's just going to sweep up. Gentle spinal twist. One breath here. Exhale, bring that right hand down. Let the left hand lift up and rotate over to this side. And I find these seated twists little more easier or a little bit more opening if you have any spinal issues or spinal sensitivity. Sometimes it helps to keep the pelvis neutral, and so having a seated spinal twist is also welcoming in this case. Right here, one more time here, and then come on back down. We'll start with the little bit of what we did last week just as a review for an option. So we'll come into first our warrior one. So we're going to turn over to I'm marrying you, so this is going to be my left side. You'll probably turn over to your right. And we'll come and have this two options to have this leg all the way, the thigh all the way on the chair, or to sit at the end of the chair. And then I also like to put a block underneath my foot. So coming into this little angle right here, knee under ankle. And then the back leg, this left leg, we'll stretch it low, drag the toes onto the ground and stretch it, and we'll lengthen that. So really activating through the back of the thigh so that you can strengthen, and this whole, your left heel will, or your left foot will be onto the ground. Gonna rotate toward that front knee, breathe here. And then when you're ready, go ahead and just lift up the arms. This is your seated warrior one option. Make any adjustments into the width of between the two legs to get that. And remember, as much space between those 2 points. Breathe in and exhale. We'll come over to our warrior two. We're going to rotate, leaving the legs pretty much essentially where they are. Maybe rotating the foot, that back foot at a little bit different angle, coming toward the center now. And then rotating the torso toward center, open up the arms, warrior two. Looking over that front hand, looking over the back hand, having those parallel to the horizon. Breathe here. Soften your shoulders and let it go. Yes. All right, reversing this warrior. Back hand's gonna come down either to the chair, to the block, or to this back thigh. The front hand's gonna lift up, and then we'll have all this space is open into the side body. So notice how you can breathe in from the seat all the way rooting through the edge and tops of your fingertips. Breathe and release. We didn't get a chance to do this, but we'll get a chance to do this week, the extended side angle. So coming back to your warrior two, your seated warrior two, we'll bend the top arm, the front arm, either coming and having that rest on that front knee, or sometimes I like to have a block and having that block coming resting on this block that's on the ground, pushing down into the block, rotating the torso toward center again, Bring that back arm up across the face, keep up stretching, and then let it come to that bicep and that ear are in alignment, having all this space now between the edge of the heel all the way to the tips of your fingers. Open up. This is your extended side angle, and breathe and release. One more warrior pose. Coming on back up here. Inhale, open up to a warrior two. We're going to clasp the hands behind the back. Open up the shoulders by bringing them up, back, down, and around. And then on your exhale, start to bend forward inside of that front knee. Head could bow. And if it's okay, then you could try to lengthen and reach up to the back of the hands off the back, off the spine. Breathe here. Exhale. Oh, release. Come on back to your warrior two. And then we'll just come on back to a center, back to a seated mountain pose. Take a breath here. Inhale and exhale. All right, let's do that one more time on the other side, and then we'll show and go into the standing option, and we'll flow through that. So setting it up, bring your props with you onto the other side. All right, so this left knee either is going to be all the way onto your left thigh is going to be all the way onto the seat, or my preferred option is just have sitting at the edge of the seat so that I can strengthen and really root down into this back leg, and then opening up through the thigh. So it helps to bring maybe the inside of your hand to the inside of that front knee, really creating this opening. Block underneath the foot is always an option. All right, rotating the torso toward that front knee. Breathe in, and then go ahead and lift up the arms. Soften your shoulders right here. Lengthen through those fingertips and continue to breathe. Opening up to a warrior two now. Slight difference in the change of the angle of the back foot. Torso, the chest rotates forward. Looking over that backhand. Oh yes, it's parallel. Looking over that front arm. Opening all the space, moving all of this distance into between each fingertip. Here you go, breathe. And release. Let's reverse it. Top hand comes up, bottom hand comes down, either to the back of the thigh. Remember, we're keeping that back thigh engaged, opening up through the side body, through the side ribs, maybe looking up at the top hand. And release. Coming back to your warrior two, coming to an extended side angle. So usually we would move the torso forward, rooting down from that back foot, moving toward this side, coming either down with the hand onto a block or hand on the knee. When I'm seated, I prefer the hand, I'm saying not a hand on the knee, but hand on the floor. So to give you a little bit more length and through this whole side body from that back edge of the heel, bringing the arm up and around, lengthen through the side body, extended side angle, seated. Breathe, there you go. One more breath here. And back to a warrior two. Oh, yeah, we go. Clasp the hands behind the back. This time, maybe opposite grip, other thumb on top. Rotate the shoulders up, back, down, and around. Open up through the heart. Breathe in. Exhale, you bow. Remember, we're bowing. That front shoulder is going to the inside or toward the inside. If it doesn't make it, it's okay. We're just coming toward, doing what you can with your body and your spine and your breath. Create some space. Inhale. Maybe the hands lift up, or just maybe they stay right there and you bow ahead. Humble warrior, release. One more time. Come on back, up, back, down, and around, and return to your mountain pose. So that's one option. Let's try that also using a chair as a prop, and we'll see how that feels. And then you're welcome to try either one, whatever one works for you today. Water is always, always encouraged. Oh, but I forgot. We have to do core. Oh, you didn't forget about that. So different core, seated core. We'll do a seated core before we get up to our standing option and try on those two options. Today's seated core option is brought to you by TikTok, my favorite little time waster. Anyway, We're going to come to a seat. Feet are going to be hip width apart. And it's just going to be 3 different positions, and we'll hold each one for 1 minute. All right, so the first position, root down through your feet, down through your seat. Inhale, lift up the arms, really lengthening through the arms. Long spine, relax your shoulders, and then turn your palms facing outward. Sometimes if you want to, you can even hold a block up there, and we'll hold this for 1 minute. And what this does is it not only strengthens through your arm mobility, but it also builds up your transverse abdominis muscles, your lower deep, deep, deep muscles. So as we're doing this, we're breathing. Ah, yes. We're filling up all of this space in our spine with breath. You're doing wonderful. Keep rooting down through your seat, noticing if you can create the length into the back of the spine, letting those ears move away from the shoulders. I know, I feel it too. And we're engaging all of these lower deep belly muscles. As you continue to breathe, you're doing great. You're doing it. Remember, this is just the first of 3. Yes. And if the block is a distraction, you can let that go and just continue just to reach up, feeling all these side body muscles. Yes, I feel it too. I'm with you right there. Okay, next move. Next thing, we'll do this for 20 times each leg. We'll just lift one leg. Remember, we're moving this from the center, from our core. So we'll breathe in, lift up the left leg, set it back down. Notice if you shifted weight, breathe in from the center, set it back down. All right, that's 1. And we'll just do this. That's 2. Oh, yes, I'm breathing. Inhale, lift, squeeze it all in. Exhale, set it back down. Breathe in and breathe out. I'm counting, that's, I think, 4 right here. Oh, yes, I'm starting to build up this heat. Keep lifting those arms, stretching up through the spine, creating that length. Yes, yes, yes. That was 6. Yeah, and the slower you go, you may notice, oh, a little bit more engagement, a little bit more shake and shimmer of your belly. And that means, oh, yes, it is working. And you don't have to count, just keep on. I'll let you know when either a minute or 20 of these little leg lifts have gone by. If you really want to get ambitious, you can go ahead and kick them out. Oh yeah, that's a little bit extra. Remember, you get to choose how spicy you want to do it. But keep lifting through the spine, keep working those transverse abdominis muscles. Yes, we are doing this. Seated core, it's so much fun. Yay, jazz hands. Okay, another 15 more seconds of this lifting, and maybe kicking. Oh, a little bit more effort when you kick it. Yes, got it there, got it there, got it there. Oh, I'm starting to build up some heat. Okay, last move. Bring your hands, palms facing each other, and we're just going to hinge at the waist. Hinge, not even at the waist. We're going to hinge at our hip creases. These hip creases, not our waist, not bending our back, but hinging at these hip creases as if you were holding a block. So I do like to hold a block for this. And we'll just do this for 10 times, all right? Breathe in, exhale, like you're gonna set that block. Oh, you see that? I just squeeze it all in, and then, oh, root down. And then we're gonna root down through our seat, but really squeeze. Breathe, squeeze. Oh, exhale, come on back up. Are you using your feet or your core to come back up? Breathe in. Slow as we go. Oh, yes. Keep that block in front of you. Keep those arms raised. You're working this, all these center, this core, this, yes. All right, 5 more times on your own. Notice how you want to feel like, oh, yes, the spaces in between with your breath, not your thoughts, just being present right here. 2 more for me. How about you? Squeeze it. Oh, my arms are burning also. Oh, yes, 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 yes. And back up. Oh, we drop the block, wiggle it all out, or not drop it, just gently place it back down to the ground and just wiggle. Okay, so grab some water if that feels a little heat. Maybe notice how your shoulders feel. Maybe tomorrow, later on today, notice how any sensations in the abs, these little center transverse abdominis muscles. Okay, so let's try that warrior series that we did once again, but this time your option of doing it seated or using a chair and doing it standing. Actually, I just use the same chair. So for this one, we'll come into your down dog. So you can come into that wide leg down dog as we did before. And I love this for like people that work in the office or sit all day. Having a chair down dog sometimes to break up that sensation of sitting all day really helps. So bring your hands just to the seat of your chair. Sometimes I like to bring it up higher, but I really like it at the seat of the chair. Walk your legs back so that the hands are straight. Wide leg, a little bit wider than hip width apart. Bend through the knees and start to sink the tailbone back as you press your hands into the seat. The head can come in between the biceps, and then make any adjustments to the feet as you like. And breathe. You can move from here now, even in your seated down dog, you can move from side to side. Or if you're standing in down dog and you want to play a little bit, root down through one foot, lift up the other leg, maybe a 3-leg down dog, opening up that hip. Come back to center, switch sides, or find some movement if you're seated into your seated down dog. All right. Coming back through center, breathe here. We'll do that spinal rotation one more time and a standing. So we'll leave the right hand onto the seat, bring open up to the left, come back through center, and then switch sides, back through center. All right, breathe in, coming back to your down dog. Breathing out, we're gonna have, you'll have your hands on the chair to hold the chair, and it's also helpful to have your chair against the wall. And then when you're ready, either come into your seated warrior one, or bring your right foot into the seat of the chair. Here you can have room to maybe move in and out, finding where this, as much space as you can between your two legs. Bring this other opposite leg out to the side, breathe here. And then we're gonna rotate the chest toward that front knee, keeping that front knee grounded into the, front foot grounded into the seat, the knee in alignment. Inhale and breathe up. This will be an option for your warrior one with the chair. One more breath here, and then open up. Rotate that back foot to the side, a little bit slight angle, and then we're opening up the torso to the center, opening up the arms. This is your warrior two version, either with standing, using the chair as a prop, or return to the previous version that we already tried, seated. Once again, mindful of the back hand and the front hand parallel to the earth. Breathe here. Let's reverse this. Top hand comes up, back hand comes down, opening up, still opportunity, whether either you're seated or you're standing, to create all this length to the side body, all the space with your breath. Reverse your warrior. Exalted warrior, breathe here. Oh, so notice with this standing version, my leg's really not far out, like as if I were seated. My standing leg is pretty much almost underneath my hip. So the opening right here that you'll experience, will be from rounding down and root into the seat. One more breath here. Let's return to our warrior two. And here's where we get the chance to play that extended side angle. So from the standing, we will lean into this, maybe having a block. I like to have a block also in the seat. Bring this block to the inside of that front foot that's on the chair, opening up, extended side angle. Breathe here. All the way out to those front fingertips, opening up the side of the torso to the center. Breathe. One more breath here. Return back to your warrior two. All right, let's do this humble warrior. We're going to turn toward that front knee. Clasp the hands behind the back. Rotate the shoulders up, back down. As we lift up the heart, inhale. Exhale, start to fold forward, bringing that front shoulder toward the inside of that front knee. Head and shoulders can relax. And if you can, and if it's accessible, go ahead and start to lift those fingers off of the spine. Another full breath here. And release. Back to your warrior two. And then return it back to a down dog of your choice, seated or standing. Shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. All right, we have the other side to do, so let's go on. Let's get into it. Come on around to the left side. Either seating it. Now, if you did it standing and you want to try it seated this time, it's okay. If you did it seated the first two times and you want to try it, remember, it's yours to try on. You don't have to buy, you just have to try. Okay, let's come on to our warrior one option again. This time the left knee will be bent, left foot onto the chair. You can scoot that standing leg a little bit back, a little bit, and maybe underneath the hip, not quite underneath. All right, finding the space, opening up through that inner thigh. Here we go. Root down, rotate toward that front knee. Hands begin to lift on the exhale. Find your warrior one version, seated or using the chair as an option, as a prop. Breathe here. In and out, let it go. All right, opening up, warrior two. Once again, maybe opening up through that inner thigh. Use that top hand to encourage, not force, encourage that top knee, that bent knee to open up just a little bit more. Breathe and release. Let's reverse it. Open it up through the side body. Once again, soften the shoulders, lean in, open it through the side, creating all the space into the side ribs. Maybe look up, down, look up at the top hand. Breathe here, one more breath. And back to a warrior two. Okay, extended side angle version. We've got a block available. Always grab whatever props you need. Have the block on the seat. One hand onto the inside. When you're ready, up and around. Noticing if that bicep can come into alignment with that top ear. Reaching through that extended arm. There you go. Breathe here. And if you have room for it, open up through the center a little bit more as you press down the knee into the elbow, or the knee into the, the knee into the elbow, and rotate toward the center, opening up a little bit more to your extended side angle. I'm still heated from all that core. Okay, let's come on back to warrior two. This time we're going to do the opposite grasp of the hands. Rotate the shoulders up and around, opening it through the heart. Inhale. Exhale, we bow. Oh, humble warrior. Let's all bow right here. Lean into it. So you may have to really push down through that foot so that knee doesn't want to go out to the side, keeping it stable. Keeping your foundation stable. Breathe here. If you want to lift up those arms, go ahead and do that. Let the neck and shoulders, or let the neck just hang loose. Breathe. One more time. Come back up and around. Let's return to a down dog, either seated or with that chair option. And breathe. Inhale. Exhale. Maybe you find more release. Letting go, letting the heart melt toward the thighs, yes, or to the earth. Shake your head, yes. Shake your head, no, and just let it all go. Just let it all go. Breathe there. And release. Root down through the feet. Come on up, everyone. Let's come on back to our chairs. Noticing how that feels for you. One more sip of water for me. And we'll find this length again, this space in between the lines. We have so much time to do in between noticing the space in between the sunrise, the sunset, between the day of life and the day of our death. How do we occupy? How do we spend all those spaces that noticing, that awareness, that coming into all of the being? So just come into your mountain pose of just feeling all of your space, all of your spine, all of who you are. Noticing the full breath, the full inhalation from the beginning to that release on the exhale. And then you may notice also in between each of that breath in and that breath out, there's a pause, there's a space, a moment. We'll begin to notice a little bit more movement. Inhale, bring the arms up and around. Finding the length of the spine as you go down through your feet and the seat lifting up through your crown. Let's take the left hand and put it on the right knee. Right hand can come either back to the chair or to the seat. Gentle rotation over to the side. Soften your shoulders and breathe in. And exhale, maybe you find space to rotate, look over that back shoulder. Keep the eyes closed or open or soft gaze energetically, looking over that back shoulder. Breathe. Each breath in, you allow more space, more length, more just being present. Each breath out, notice what you can let go, soften, and release. All right, let's bring it back to center. Oh, inhale all the way back up. Yes, find the length in your spine. Maybe walk the shoulders up again. Exhale, let's go take that gentle twist over to the opposite side. Hand comes over to the knee. The other hand comes to the back of the chair. As you root down through your seat, lift it up all through the spine. The shoulders are going to come up, back, down, and around. Opening up through the collar, to the spine. And you breathe. Letting the breath be the occupier of the space. When those thoughts, when those activities, when anything else wants to just come on in there, allow the breath to be in that space. Allow your present felt sense of noticing who you are in this moment be in that space. Few more breaths right here, lengthening, maybe twisting deeper if you have that available for you. And breathe. One more breath here. Oh, come on, bring it all back to center. And exhale. We'll come into a seated butterfly next. I like to use the blocks with this. So blocks underneath the feet. Having rooted down to your sit bones. Bring the feet onto the blocks. Just let the knees fall out to the side wide. This will be your seated butterfly. Hands can either come to rest onto the top of the thighs, or you could have one hand on your belly and one hand on your chest. I'm offering and noticing to create as much space on the breath in the belly As the belly expands and the lungs expand, breathing in and breathing out. Inhale and exhale. Let the knees keep falling out to the side. You may even want to widen the space between the feet, widen the space between your breath. Just breathe. Another few more rounds of breath, just being here, noticing what you notice. Without any story, without any judgment, without anything else but just noticing. And then begin to move the feet underneath the hips once again. You can remove the blocks or keep them there. As we move into our final shape of Shavasana, here's where two chairs are lovely for Shavasana. I'm going to turn to the side real quick. Bring in this other chair right here. Maybe your extra blanket that you had onto the floor. Lean back into your seat. Oh, yes. Bring those legs up and extend them long. Just let the arms hang low, hang by the sides, coming into that length of the spine. And remember, now this is the time, this is the space, this is where you just get to be. You feel in that space, and maybe the thoughts come, but we're just going to just let that be, letting go of all the activity and just being with the breath. And we'll take a minute or two in this seated Shavasana of just really letting it go. Being in this space of being. And know that you have the opportunity just to return back to the space of the breath at any time. And then on your next breath, start to wiggle your toes and your fingers, maybe moving your face, neck from side to side, spine. Gently help the legs off of the chair. Or you can stay there if that feels good. Once again, finding your either seat or just remaining into that comfortable resting chair Shavasana. And we'll come to taking a few breaths together. At the end of our practice, root down through the feet, down through the seat, a long spine. Take a breath here as we expand, open up the arms, open up all of your practice, the benefits that you receive from your practice, and bring it to your heart center. And let's take just one breath together. On a breath in, release it. On the breath out. We come together virtually through community in this practice. We're taking care of self and taking care of others. And in the spirit of Ubuntu, I am because we are. And what we do here on the mat, we extend into our everyday life. Thank you once again for having me. I'm Kirsten Johnson. It's In Her Voices on Instagram. I've got a couple of things coming up. If you're interested, always welcome comments. And I will turn it back over to Katie.
All right. Thank you so much, Kirsten. I always love when you point out just taking time to be. I think we don't do that often enough. So I will always follow that guidance. So thank you so much. And thank you all again so much for joining us for chair yoga. A big thank you to Kirsten for another amazing session. I popped her Instagram handle, which is @inhervoices. So you can go and follow her and keep up with all of the good stuff that she is doing. So for more information about our health literacy initiatives and upcoming virtual programs, just go to www.saclibrary.org. We'll be back next Wednesday, September 22nd at 10 a.m. So we hope to see you then. So for Kirsten, for myself, and for the Sacramento Public Library, thank you so much and be well.